Dear brothers and sisters, as we gather here today, this being the second day of the workshops, we will be focusing on selfless service. Service that we can perform in love and harmony. One of the virtues that we need to inculcate in our life is that of selfless service. And so first of all, we need to understand what does selfless service mean. As you all know, our whole organization is a voluntary organization. That means that all of us who come here of our own accord. We come here because we want to come here, not because we're going to get some money, not for any other gains which are materialistic, but for spiritual gains, the gains that you can't measure in the units of this world. And so as we start to understand what selfless service is, it is very important to know that this is the service that we perform on our own, by ourselves, to be able to help in the teachings of the great masters, to be made available to people all around the globe. That is the final goal. The reason we do that is because we ourselves know, understand, recognize, and realize that these are the best teachings that are available. Now, I can only speak from personal experience, and so these are the best that I have known. And if someone knows any better, please come and tell me too. And so as we find something which we feel is great, is good, then we want our friends, our families, people that we know, to also benefit. And so firstly, when we come to the mission, we come for our own spiritual gains. And as we start to recognize those gains, we then want those gains also to come to others. And it is in that state in which we want to help others that we start to perform selfless service. As a seeker, as a beginner on the path, our whole attention is focused on helping our spirit, helping our soul. And that is what it should be. Unless we are helped ourselves, we cannot, in the true sense of the word, help someone else. If we are not peaceful ourselves, there is no way that we can bring about peace to others that we meet. If we are in turmoil, then all we will be able to do is to bring stress and strife in the life of others. So before we get to the state of being able to help someone, we need to be able to help ourselves. And when we do reach the state of growing spiritually, or being able to deal with this human life in a manner in which it should be dealt, then we are ready to help others. So selfless service only comes into play when we reach that state. And as we reach a state of spiritual growth, within from ourselves is the desire to help others. And in that state, we start to help others, not because someone tells us, not because we are looking for any rewards, but because that is the right thing to do. A spiritual path is one which makes us understand right from wrong, truth from what is false. And as we walk on the path of Santmat, we come in touch with the ultimate truth. That is the recognition that this human life has a purpose, and the purpose is to not only know ourselves, not only know that we are spirit, we are soul, but to have our soul merge back in God, merge back in the source from where we all came. And so as we understand what the purpose of our existence is, as we learn the truth, we then try our very best to make that truth available to others. When we start to help someone, the intention is always to live in a manner, to act in a manner in which love and harmony would come in the life of others. As we realize the truth, we recognize that we are all living under strife, under stress, under strain, and we all are caught up in a world of illusion. Now, as we recognize that we are caught in a world of illusion, and as we find a way which can remove the illusionary curtains which are shrouding the truth, then we try for others to also recognize the truth. And this is where in us develops an inherent feeling to be able to help others. And so selfless service in the true sense is a service, is a help that we provide to someone else so they can be connected with the truth, they can recognize the truth, they can find the truth, they can live the truth. And so true selfless service is done not with any expectation of returns or rewards for ourselves. If any service is performed because of us trying to get a reward, then it becomes useless. It is not selfless service. It might be a service that one performs, but if we expect something, if we receive something in return, then it's not selfless anymore. So what is very important is to recognize the difference between service and selfless service. Sandarshan Singh Ji Maharaj would often say that selfless service is a part and parcel of being a human being. He would say that if God wanted only devotion, angels were there already. But in the human being, God has provided us with that capability to help others, to fulfill the need of others, to care for others, to share in their pain, to help them so that their life gets better, not only in the worldly sense, but in the true sense. And our life in the true sense only gets better when we understand the truth, when we recognize the truth, when we make a life according to that truth. And as we live a life of truth, we then are on our way to fulfill the very purpose of our existence. And so, as we try to understand selfless service, what is very important is to recognize the manner in which the service is performed. The service could be of any kind. It could be at the physical level, it could be at the mental level, it could be at the intellectual level, it could be at the emotional level, and it could be at the spiritual level. Any service that we perform to help someone else take a step closer to God is a service worth performing. But the means by which this service is performed are very, very important. So, in the path of Sanmat, we have a goal. And to reach our goal, the means that are used also have to be truthful, have to be loving, have to be in harmony with our surroundings. And so, if the means are not proper, that does not justify reaching the goal. Now, when we look at the lives of the great masters, and many of us here have had a chance to spend time with some with Hazur Baba Sawan Singh Ji Maharaj, many more with Sant Gopal Singh Ji Maharaj, and many more with Sandarshan Singh Ji Maharaj. And when we look at the life of these great masters, we find how they were giving. The motto of their life was give, give, and give. And so, when we try to understand the way in which these great masters gave, we find that all of their giving was done in love. All of their giving was done in harmony. All of their giving was done in peace. And so, as we start to understand selfless service, we have examples in front of us as to what to emulate. And as we look at what we do in our own life, many a times it comes loud and clear that we are actually not behaving in a manner which would be fruitful. Many a times, if we are in a position of power, let's say, in a position to be helping someone else, we misuse our status. Instead of helping someone, instead of listening to someone, what we do is we try to ram our thoughts, our ways down their throats. Why? Because we feel that because of our position, we have every right to dictate to others whatever we want. But when we look at the lives of the great saints, we find that they would put their point across, but in a very loving manner, in a manner in which it won't hurt anyone else. But when we look at ourselves, are our words always loving? Are we trying to help someone, or are we trying to tell them what to do? Are we providing a means, or are we dictating something? Are we being truly truthful as we try to perform a service? Or are we using whatever we know, whatever position we are, to create a better situation for ourselves? Now, all of us here are from different parts of the world, and many of us here are leading many satsang groups all around the globe. So it is very important that we truly look at what we are doing. We might think that we can get away with whatever seems to be right to us. But little do we understand that it is through our own living of the path that the path radiates to others. And so, if we do not truly understand what selfless service is, we are never going to be able to propagate the teachings in the best possible of manners. Because it is not only what we say that affects others. It is how we act, it is how we think, it is how we react. We all have many other means of communication. As an example, if you're angry, that anger comes out in many ways. It might come out as body language. You might not look at the person at which you're angry. You might face away from them. You might, through words, say things which cut the person much more than any physical activity. Because, you're all familiar with the saying that the tongue is sharper than the knife. You might think bad thoughts of them. And so when we lead a life like that ourselves, we are not fit to be of any service to others. So what is very important is to take a good look at ourselves. So as we are gathered today, and as we are looking at this subject of performing service with love and harmony, I feel what is very important is, first of all, to have a plan. Plan out what we really want to do. It's easy to say, perform service with love and harmony. Try to understand each word of which is in this sentence. In performance, I would encompass thoughts, words, and deeds. Now, thoughts are very important. If we don't have loving thoughts towards someone, towards a job, towards the activity we are going to do, we are not going to be able to do that service in peace. When we have bad thoughts, thoughts that would bring pain to others, they also get radiated. And subtly they are received by the person about whom we have those thoughts. And what happens is that they might get a pain, but we also create karma. And as we create karma for our bad thoughts, we'll have to pay for it. So the dagger that we are trying to point towards someone else is actually coming and getting deep into ourselves. And so we need to understand that. How we speak is very important. Because it's through speech that we communicate. It's through what we say that what we feel comes across to others. And so, in the performance of any activity, if harsh words are used, we definitely are providing pain in the heart of others. And so whatever goal we are going to, if we in the process are bringing pain to someone else, it's not worth reaching that goal. And so the great saints have said, let us be very careful of what we speak. They've always said, put the mind in gear before you let your tongue speak. So it's better to think for a minute or two or three or four before letting any words come out of us. Because once the words have come out, there's no way of retrieving them. You can't get them back. If they pain someone, there is no way that you can get the pain out, and it is possible that this pain might last for a lifetime. And so it is very important that we understand that each and every word that comes out of us should be loving, should be carefully looked at, thought about, processed before we let it out of our system. Because it will affect the life of others who are going to be listening to those words. And so it becomes our duty to make sure that we speak in a manner in which the environment gets peaceful, in which the environment is harmonious, in which love is going to engulf the surrounding in which we are. Also, what is very important is our actions. The way we help someone or we perform a service is very, very important. It should be always done with love, because our actions are very, very important. And as we are performing any service, because service could be physical, mental, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and there might be, action involved, that leaves a great impact. And so please be very careful of our actions. How you talk to someone is very important, but what are your, physical actions of the body? And this is why never to get in a physical fight. And as we understand that thought, words and deeds that come out of us need to be loving and caring, then the service that we're performing would be fruitful. Also, what is very important is to understand that violence can come in all three of these areas. So we need to be non-violent in thought, in word and in deed. Because violence can occur at each one of these areas. And once violence has started, as you're all aware, it is very difficult to subdue it. So, today as we live in a materialistically advanced area, what is important for us to understand is that we need to learn from whatever is prevalent in our societies. And so just like it is better to have preventive medication than to have medication to cure a disease, it's better that the disease doesn't come, that we live in a manner that the process of being diseased doesn't start. So we need to be in a preventive maintenance situation, in a preventive medication situation, so that we do not reach a stage where it will take so much longer, so much more of an effort to rectify the situation. Also, what is very important is to be very, very truthful at all times, in all activities, in all actions, in all thoughts, in all words, in all deeds. Because when we are not truthful, it creates havoc not only in the life of others but in our own life. To be untruthful is to create more ramifications of the mind, more situations for the mind to deal with. Because when you're dealing with the truth, you're always dealing with one. Because the truth is always the one and the same. But when you're dealing with activities which are not truthful, you are dealing with many, many different situations. So being truthful at all times, in all situations, is very, very important. Another aspect which impacts selfless service is that of ego. Many of us, if we look at ourselves, think too much of ourselves. We might think we are physically very strong. We might feel we are physically very beautiful. We might be egoistic because of our intelligence. We might be egoistic because we have studied a lot. We might be egoistic because of the job we have, because of the work we do, or the position we have reached. We might be egoistic because we are very rich. We might be egoistic because we have created an empire in the physical world for ourselves. And so all of these situations make us look at others as being lesser than us. And as long as we live in that state, we're not capable of helping someone else. We might help someone monetarily if we are very rich. We might help someone physically if we are very strong. But if in the process we are egoistic about our own situation, that help is not useful in our spiritual progress. And so what is very important is to be humble, is to learn and know that we need not to think too much of ourselves. Because many of us, as we help others, are expecting many, many returns because of our ego. A lot of times in being very egoistic, in the manner in which we try to help is wrong. Because when we consider ourselves to be at a higher plateau, we always are looking down at others, and the process by which we deal with others in itself is one which is not a fruitful process. And so it is very important that we learn to be humble. Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj would often say that we need to lead a life in which there is humility first, humility second, and humility next. And so we need to lead a humble life. And he would, Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj would often say that a 99.9% of humility is found in the life of the saints. You know, why do we run after saints? Because we want to gain something, we want to make our lives as theirs. And so if their life is 99.9% humility, or humility is found in the saints, that's an important virtue for us to have. And so as we are trying to help someone else, we need to provide the help in a manner in which they don't feel bad about us being able to help them. So the help has to be provided in a loving manner, in which our ego does not take the best of us. So as you start your workshop today, I think the steps that need to be taken, first of all, is to plan and to understand what performing service with love and harmony means. In your own groups, in your own environments, in your own satsangs, you need to see what is the environment. You need to put it down on paper, and you need to understand what goal do you want to reach. Once you have a goal in front of you, the next thing to do is to try to find means and ways by which you can reach that goal. And those means and ways today will be discussed. This is a very interactive workshop. So there would be times that you'll spend in learning how to smile. You might think you all know how to smile well, but you can imagine when I look at all of you, more than 90% of you are not smiling. So, I feel if in my situation you're not smiling, God knows what you do to others. So, what is very important is to be able to learn how to smile. Smile properly so that others can know the happiness that you have in yourself. How we talk to each other, what kind of words we use, what are our gestures. These are very, very important things. And you're going to be focusing on some of these. As our attention falls on what is important to live a life of harmony, live a life of service, as we put our attention on any area, we get to be better in that area. So it's very important that we learn those skills, we focus on those areas so that we better the way we act or the way we react to a situation or the way we deal with someone else, the way we live. And once you have looked at the means that will help you get to the goal, it's always good to reevaluate the situation. Because with time, situation changes. The people in a group might change, you might be going to different areas and dealing with different people. So you need to learn how to adapt what you learn into different environments. And as you go on your way to be able to perform selfless service in a loving and harmonious manner, I pray to God Almighty and to the three great masters of this century, Hazur Baba Savan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj, and the gracious Master Sandarshan Singh Ji Maharaj, to help each and every one of us here truly recognize the importance of leading our life in a helping manner, in a caring manner, in a manner in which we fulfill the need of others, in a manner in which all of these are done in love and in harmony. Thank you very much.